Hello everyone, my name is Swamp, and today I would like to read you a story. And today's story is from the Huffington Post, entitled, "I'm Black but Look White. Here are the horrible things white people feel safe telling me." Many of these people are educated and hold jobs or positions that give them some form of power or influence over Black people. By Miriam Zinter. I was outside my house gardening a few weekends ago when a neighbor, whom I had known for almost 30 years, stopped by so I could pet his large, fluffy dogs. I took my gloves off, squatted down to give the dogs a really good scratching around their ears, and felt the sun on my back. What could be better? And then my neighbor said, "Why do you have a Black Lives Matter sign on your front lawn when all those people do is kill each other?" My lovely day screeched to a halt. "You know I'm Black, right?" I said, standing up as tall as my 5'4" frame would allow, the sun shining on my blonde hair. I continued to pet his dogs because I needed the comfort of petting dogs at that moment. And because I needed to keep my hands busy so they didn't slap that man's face. After the usual back and forth of him saying no and me saying yes, and then him trying to gauge exactly how Black I was by asking which of my parents was Black and me replying both, we had a very uncomfortable conversation about racism. I told him about my father's struggle to get an education because guidance counselors and admissions agents would not accept Black people into community colleges or SUNY programs in the 1950s and 60s. I told him that even though my father was a veteran, he could not be approved to use the GI Bill for college or buy a house, since no one would process his paperwork because he was a Black man. I told him that people painted "Go Home" on the back of our house when my parents finally saved enough money to build a house in the suburbs of Syracuse, New York. And I told him how Black Lives Matter calls attention to the fact that Black people are considered less than white people, and that needs to stop. Oh, and would you look at that? Here on the next page is a photo of the author. Yeah, I'd say you kind of look white. How horrible. I also told him if people don't understand that Black Lives Matter, Black people will continue to be murdered by the police and denied opportunities by the establishment. We will not be allowed to participate in the American dream, and we will be made to feel that this is somehow our fault, when it is in fact the fault of a racist society with the full support of our government. This isn't the first time I've had to have this conversation. Encounters like this have been going on for a very long time for me. Miriam, I definitely believe you there. My parents were worried. This was 1969. People knew we were Black and that I would be starting school in a district where there were no other Black children. I don't look Black, but I am Black. So we figured I could and would be subjected to racist actions by my peers. We were prepared for groups of white parents to gather at the school to shout at me or spit on me. My parents needed me to understand that if this happened, it didn't mean that I was bad. It meant the adults were bad, and that I'd need to rise above like Dr. King had done. Things were once bad, so things forever bad. When we moved from Syracuse to Rochester, New York, our new neighborhood was also largely white. Why do you keep moving to white areas? Gosh, just stop. They're awful. Don't you know this? Anyway, I didn't even find this strange. I fit in and made very good friends, some of whom I am friends with to this day. But I always knew I was Black, and forgetting who I was simply wasn't an option. In middle school, my history teacher told the class that if we really wanted to insult Black people, we should call them Uncle Toms. In high school, one student came dressed as a Klansman for Halloween, carrying a noose. Another student, wearing blackface and a loincloth, ran around in front of him. When the few Black students and a number of our white classmates complained to the principal about it, we were told we needed to develop a sense of humor. Man, did you go to school with Ralph Northam? Another student who had later become a teacher called me a white. I found myself constantly defending affirmative action, busing, and desegregation with friends and classmates whose parents thought if black people infested their white world, chaos would ensue. Many years have passed since then, but sadly, this madness hasn't stopped. My neighbor, the one who asked me why Black Lives Matter, is not the only one who's felt comfortable asking me such a question or making a statement rife with racism. White people think I am white too, and therefore feel safe saying all kinds of horrible things they might not say publicly. I've had people tell me it disgusts them to see interracial couples. They've told me they don't understand why black neighborhoods look so ghetto, and that black people are animals or thugs. Many of these people are educated and hold jobs or positions that give them some form of power or influence over black people. They are doctors, judges, lawyers, social workers, and politicians. That's frightening. I see that you're not mentioning what year it was when you heard these things anymore. Wonder why that is. In every instance where I've encountered racist rhetoric, I have made it my business to speak up. I have told or reminded these people that I am black. I have told them my family's story, and I have done whatever I could to educate them about the systems of racism that exist in this country. Sometimes they say, "But you're different." Then I ask them if other black folks they know are also different. When they say yes, I ask them, "How are all the black people you know different? When are you going to realize that we are not different? That you have been misled into believing that black people are somehow bad, and that what you see with your own eyes, these black people you know and know are not different or bad, are good people like you." And that floors them. And believe me, guys, this happened exactly the way I just described it. And it was in 2021. And then everyone clapped. Living as a black woman who looks white has allowed me to experience white privilege firsthand. Because people assume I am white, it is assumed I'm honest, smart, and trustworthy. Many times I have thought to myself, if I looked black, how would these people treat me? And I have known, without a shadow of a doubt, that I would be treated with disdain or suspicion or as a criminal. I know in many instances that if I looked black, the police would have been called to question me. And this sickens and angers me. How many of our black brothers and sisters have had the police call? How many of our black brothers and sisters have had the police called on them simply for the act of living their lives? As a nation, we need to stop this. The best way to achieve change is to accept and learn about our racist past and the injustices visited upon our black citizens. It's deeply concerning that people are protesting the possibility of our country's history being accurately taught in schools. Now look, that's a link. Let's see what we got here. Oh, parents protesting critical race theory. Identify a new target. Oh yeah, so you're saying teaching history accurately is critical race theory. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and look at this woman. Well, you can just tell that she's racist. I mean, look at her. She's white. You know everything you need to know just by looking at her skin color. She's racist, and you're not racist for thinking that. No, wait. Is that you? Are you a double agent? Anyway, the only way for America to be great is to accept all of our citizens at face value, unless you oppose critical race theory. And the only way to do that is to understand our intertwined roots, our history, and all the pain and tragedy that exists within, and face this together head on. You know, I see a lot of articles that claim all these things about white people. The racism and ignorance and hate and blah, 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 blah. But I haven't really ever come across it. And I live in the South. Not just the South, the deep South. Apparently all these racists are in colleges and live in New York and LA. Who would have thought?